Hey everyone, welcome back to Indy Homestead. Today we are taking a tour of our property, showing you some of the projects we have been working on over the last couple of years. We're really proud of all that we have accomplished in this short amount of time, and we are excited to show you. So we hope you enjoy following along with us on this tour. Hey there, welcome back to Indy Homestead. I'm Brittany.
I'm Chris.
And today we're doing a little tour, a little property update, just to kind of show all the things and the projects we've been up to over the last couple of years.
We're going to show you guys some of the stuff that we accomplished or maybe didn't get around to doing, but hopefully this is a nice recap of all the work we've done in the last 2 years.
All right, well let's get started. We can start with this barn. And so for starters, we're standing in front of the office slash she shed.
She shed.
This is where I get a lot of my work done, but it did not look the way it looks now when we first bought the property.
I would like to in the future turn it into like a actual in-law quarters, like a working plumbing and like AC and heat. I think that'd be really cool.
Like have a loft. It doesn't
like
have
a little,
loft.
like a tiny house.
It is super cute. It's super cute. I love it. I love spending time in there, and it really gives us a space to kind of step away from the chaos.
It's like a little oasis in the oasis.
We added some landscaping a little bit. It doesn't look super great.
It looks kind of sad right now.
It looks kind of sad right now, but for Christmas, Chris got me these beautiful roses, the David Austin roses. This is the Claire Austin rose.
Very pretty.
And they smell so delicious. And over here,
What's that one called?
this one is the Wedgwood rose, and it smells so scrumptious. Seriously, it's the highlight of my day to come out here and smell these roses. They've been blooming.
It's almost as pretty as you.
Oh.
Almost.
They've been blooming for months, and right now it's gonna be October tomorrow.
And they've grown quite a bit. We need to make a trellis for them.
Yeah, we need a trellis. We did not do that this year, but that's okay. So
2 years ago, I think, at this point, we talked about doing the septic field, and we couldn't really make up our minds. Well, we made up our minds, and we decided to plant a diverse native seed mixture, and I'll show you a quick preview of that. Look at mine up there.
it is buzzing in here.
I know, and I think the first thing you'll notice is just the sounds. If I'll just stop talking here, you can hear all the bees.
Yeah, would you?
I think I can honestly say I've never seen so many bees in my entire life.
Wow, I've never seen this many in my entire life either. Holy cow. This is incredible. How does it feel to be in Daddy's garden?
Which one of Daddy's garden?
This one of Daddy's garden.
The biggest one, right?
Yeah.
It feels pretty damn good. This is like my little oasis. I know we said the she shed was your oasis, but this is my oasis. Which is funny because we're standing over a mound of poop, essentially. But hey, the flowers love it and the insects love it. There's about 30 or more native species of plants here. Right now it's kind of hard to tell because it's being dominated by frost aster, but yeah, I think it's totally beautiful. I have never seen so many insects in one spot in my life. It's just literally buzzing with activity. But yeah, like 2 years ago when we were trying to decide what we wanted to do with it, we ultimately decided to give a piece of our land back to nature, since it wasn't something that we could fully utilize to the potential that we originally wanted it to be. We decided to just give that back to nature and see what it would want to do. And honestly, I mean, you can see for yourself it's thriving. The amount of just different animals and insects that we've seen in here is truly amazing. It's such a small little area. It's what, 50 by 100 feet, and it's just the difference between now and then it's night and day, honestly. But yeah, this project is 2 years in the making at this point. We do have a video coming out as soon as it turns to fall and stuff starts to die back and go dormant. I'll do a quick once over and just show you the process of how we turned the septic field into this natural habitat. It was pretty easy, but it was very, it was hard to sit back and let nature do its thing because you just want to intervene. It's like being a hovering parent. You're like, oh no, I got to fix this one thing. But no, just letting nature do what nature does. And yeah, the results are pretty cool. But yeah, I'll outline that whole thing in a video to come up here in the fall.
Afternoon, ladies.
So this is the chicken run. They've got this whole area right here that's caged in where they're kind of safe. And then out here they basically have free range. They've got this little area and then it curves over to the other side. They like to take shade under that mulberry tree right there. And when it's season for the berries to drop, they just eat those. And this right here is our big compost pile. But anything in the garden that we don't want to throw in our nicer compost pile, they have access to right here. And they just turn everything over. We wanted to make everything kind of dual purpose. So I love grapes. She loves grapes. Chickens love grapes, so I was like, why not? Let's just put grapes in the chicken area. So they are right now kind of wild and unruly. I need to come in here and prune them up before winter starts to hit. But this is a 2-year-old vine that I planted, and then the other 2 are 1-year-old vines. The idea is to let this just overtake the whole wired chicken run and provide shelter. When the fruit falls down, they can eat that. And then whatever the chickens don't get, we get. You can see just how much this guy's grown in 1 year. This is kind of ridiculous. I need to come in here and shape it up, but that'll be a video. This barn is just kind of our catch-all barn at the moment. I've been working on the leaf vac, just making a few like quality of life changes. Got tired of having to lift the gate up, so I put in some gas struts on the inside, so when you just unlock it, it just pops the door wide open for you. Added a different, I improved the ventilation, and I'll go into that with the next leaf vac update video.
There's our broken trampoline that we want to build a chicken tractor with.
Yeah, chicken tractor, trellis system for the garden, and honestly, we
shade nets.
Yeah, all the black mesh cloth there on it, we could use as shading cloth for the garden. We're standing out here in the pasture. This has also been a huge work in progress over the last 2 years because I did everything by hand. We just let it go to seed this year, let all the early cool season grasses go to seed, and then we cut everything down midsummer. So when the summer weeds started to pop up, we cut them down before they seeded. After we knocked everything down in the midsummer, we have kept it mowed and just let the clover and the grass and everything else growing in here just cycle back on itself and feed the soil until we actually get animals on here. And then in the background there you can see we've got a plot of land going where it's going to be kind of like a natural small food forest for the chickens and whatever else wants to forage in there.
Chris has been working very hard on this spot, basically turning it into the future home of our free-range chickens.
Part of their home.
Part of their home. Back there, he planted a serviceberry tree to act as shade and protection for them, as well as to drop luscious and delicious berries for them to eat. And then there's some strawberries and some blueberries and some native grasses as well. And the goal here is to just basically make it like a safe space for the chickens to roam. So the plan here is to create some sort of barrier between this pasture space and this chicken oasis. I don't know if that's a fence or something else. We haven't really decided. But the goal here is that they are, sort of in the same space, but it is separated by something, so that the chickens have this kind of to themselves and not sharing it with the sheep and whatever other animals we end up getting.
And then scattered throughout the property, I built a couple bird houses just to encourage some more of those native birds to come back to the area. And this bird house alone is just built with scrap wood. Took me like, I don't know, an hour because I'm not great, but it took me about an hour. But it's been here for 2 years at this point, and it has brooded 6 different broods of bluebirds. So that's kind of cool. And then this is another one out in the pasture.
And so you plan on building more bird boxes in the future?
You know, in the winter months when things start to slow down, I'm going to design and build a couple bird houses. That would be something to look forward to if you're into that sort of thing.
So this spot right here behind me is where we want to have our food forest. It's in the infancy stage. We've barely done anything with it other than there's a couple layers of mulch as well as strawberries and raspberries. And this is our sycamore tree. I don't know if you remember from our original tour video, we talked about this sycamore tree and how we wanted to maybe move it, but it is so big now. I mean, how many times bigger do you think it is?
I think it's 3 times bigger.
It's like 3 times bigger than what it was when we originally moved here over 2 years ago. We've always loved this tree, but we really love it now, and we feel like it's going to play an essential role in this food forest dynamic that we want to get started. And then behind this pile of rubbish is where the original garden was. It's looking like a total mess right now because it was not kept up with this summer. And so we're still trying to decide if that area is going to be absorbed by this food forest or if the garden's going to remain in the same spot. And so there's some decisions to be made there, but we're really excited about what the potential is for this. I think if we could go back in time, we probably would have established like a perennial food forest a little bit sooner, but again, you know, you can't do it all, right? Right? Yeah. And so this is our bioswale. Right now, it's looking a lot like the septic field. This native snow aster has kind of taken over this spot, and it is like a bee haven. We did plant a lot of different grasses and plants in here, and as well as trees and bushes. Number one, our goal for this is to create a screen to help create a sense of privacy. But number two, it's also to utilize this in a way that gives it back to the land. And so again, emphasis on native species and diversity and something that's self-sustaining. And so this was a very harsh environment and still is. It sees the most extreme conditions on our property. So it's either super, super dry or it's like standing in water. And so it had to be plants that could withstand that. And so we spent a lot of time last year and early this year on this spot. And since then, it's really been kind of thriving on its own. And we're hoping that in the next few years we start to feel that privacy effect. At some point in the next couple months we'll be posting a video all about that process and planting and what we did, and so stay tuned for that. And so right now we're in our 120-year-old barn. It's the biggest barn on our property, but we really haven't done a ton in this space. That's still on the list. We're really excited for what this space could be.
Yeah, right now it's just my workshop.
But last week we did have a barn expert come from the Indiana Barn Foundation.
And we got like an estimated date because there are hand-hewn beams as like the actual support of this barn. He dated it anywhere before 1875, so it's at least 140 years old.
So that we were really excited about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, there's so much history here, and we do have intentions of kind of digging into some records at some point to find out a little bit more about this property. We have a lot of ideas, maybe transforming the upstairs into like some sort of livable space down the line. And there will be a video coming up detailing our experience with that barn expert. And so that's all we have for you for this little tour, this little update of our property. It was long overdue. It's been a couple years since we've shown what this has been looking like, and we've been doing a lot of work.
Yeah, it feels like nonstop.
It does feel like nonstop, but it also feels like sometimes you're doing nothing, but when you do a tour like this, it really shows you how much you have been doing. So we're really proud of the space we're creating.
Yeah, it's nice to see some progress after a couple years.
Yeah. And so I guess we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah, here.
It's almost as beautiful as you.
Shut up.
Bless you. Bless you.
Maybe she's allergic to goldenrod.
Maybe.
Are you Harry Potter?
Okay, we don't hit with sticks. Bless you. She might be allergic.
I think she is.
Alright, we should find a different flower.
Let's trade flowers. You give me your yellow flower, I'll give you my white flower. Here, I'm gonna take this one. Thank you.
Aww. That's a man right there, ladies.
Pass, but this is where all the magic happens, baby.
All of it?
No, not all of it.